Good.
Happy
How are
Wed.
you?
Good. Happy Wednesday. I gotta turn my volume up here. I'm having a difficult time hearing. All right. So anybody have any wins for today in their business? What's happening this week? Anybody? No?
Just some inspections.
Oh, well that's good. That means you have closings coming up and under contract, right?
Yeah, there's a couple, so that's good.
Nice. Awesome. Do you go to the inspections? I'm always curious to see what other agents do.
I used to back when I first started. I mean, I would sit through the entire inspection, and now here in our area, they do not want the agents to be at the inspections because of liability issues.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is here too. And I think too, if I'm there the whole time, the more I know, it's like it does become a liability. Getting the summary after is seems to be just fine with me. So yeah, I get that. Interesting. All right, well, let's dive back into our topic. So, has anyone taken action on what we've been talking about this week with building community lead gen? Anybody? I know, Dawn, you've been out most of the week, so you probably haven't. But has
I
anybody?
haven't, but that's actually why I've been out because I was doing chamber stuff, Rotary stuff, golf
Oh,
tournament for Habitat.
good.
But yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, just getting out in your community, like that's the best way. I always think about, because I'm thinking a lot about what's happening with my business right now. I mean, like, we had a super busy May. Obviously, June was busy because we had a lot of new listings coming on in May and June. But now our market, at least for me, is has slowed down. And I think about someone I saw on social media. I can't remember who it was, a different coach that said every realtor is working in the same market that you are. So why is it that some are doing really well and having their best year ever, and for some it's just slow? And I noticed that in my office too. Like half of our office is slow and like can't get a listing appointment to save their soul, and then the other half is doing really well. So I don't know if there's any explaining it, because it's not like I'm not lead generating, but I think it just comes down to like what you just said, Dawn, is how many conversations are you having with people a day? And I think about that too. And like, um it's if we're not having conversation about real estate, where's the next listing going to come from, right? Or just being out in the community, having people see you, knowing what you do, whether you're a lender like you are or a realtor like some of the rest of us. It's just being present and visible in your community. And my husband and I were having a conversation over the weekend because usually I do work on the weekends, and Sunday came and our Pepperfest little event that happens in our area was on Sunday. And my husband and I, we had this conversation as we were having our coffee about like, are we going to Pepperfest? Are we not? And right away I was like, oh, I was really looking forward to just like rocking the baseball hat and just staying at home, getting some stuff done here and chilling for the day. But when I think about other people who are in my office who are doing really well right now, they're out and about like every single day, every single night. And I chose to stay home on Sunday instead of go to Pepperfest, where I would have seen like a lot of people that I know who are in my circle. Sometimes you need to just stay home and chill out and like not leave the house. But then when I look at my pipeline right now for real estate, it's like, well, I probably should have made a different choice. So I think a lot of like what we're talking about in community lead generation week is like, you know, being visible in the community. And the more you're out and about, the more people are going to be like, oh, there's Susie, there's that real estate agent, oh, there's Dawn, she's a lender. Oh, there's Tom again, he's always out there. So I do think like that is something that we should be aware of is, how are we spending our time? And again, going back to, I know I mentioned women on the go a lot, but that's what women on the go has allowed me to be like, okay, I'm not going to let the comfy coziness of the baseball hat and the recliner get me tonight. I'm actually going to go out and be part of the community. And I don't know, Susie, you might have something to add to that.
Yeah, the we had our book club through Women on the Go last night, and it never fails. When you have a busy day at work, it's kind of everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to just go home. And as much as I love it, I always think, oh, I'd love to stay home. But I went, and it was such a fun time. There were 12 of us, and we had such a good time in conversation. And also, somebody new came who was a past client of mine. I mean, like our kids grew up like 30 years ago, and she started talking, and she was on the other end of the table, and people were going, talking about who they were and, what they did. And she was like, oh, and, our boys grew up together, haven't seen them in a long time. And she's our real estate agent. And then the person across from her said, oh, I didn't know you were in real estate. I need to ask you some questions. We might be wanting to list our house. And I went, and so when you're out in a social setting, a lot of times that trust is kind of already built in, and I'm not having to do anything. It's
Yeah,
just being there socializing with them, which is wild.
right. And it's fun at the same time. So that's
Exactly.
the best part of it. Yeah. Well, anytime I'm having an event, I always plan it for like 5:30 because if I have to go home between work and the event, I'm never going to want to show up. So it's always like, okay, yeah, we'll plan that for 5:30 that way, you know, I won't have to go, especially in the winter. We live, for those of you that don't know, I'm in Wisconsin. So during the winter, it's dark here at 4 o'clock, and you know 5:30 rolls around and I'm like, shouldn't I be in my pajamas by now? So anyway, it gets to be a thing. All right, so today we're going to cover the giveaway is not the lead generation. So going back to what we've been talking about all week, like what has to happen after someone raises their hand for the giveaway for it to actually become lead generation. What do you guys think about that? Anyone have any input?
Say that again.
Well, what I want you guys to think about is like what is the event that has to happen after somebody raises their hand for the giveaway that you're giving away for it to actually become lead generation?
Re-engagement, I guess. More two-way conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Right.
that's going to deepen that relationship. So, we are, like Sue was talking about, they're having those initial conversations even without you.
Yep.
I
Well,
think providing value and education too, in some respects too.
yep. Well, and it's like, okay, if you put the Google form out there and all I'm asking you guys for is your name, your phone number, and your email, that's not going to provide me an opportunity for lead generation. So I think there's different levels of it. There's like the first is the response. They're raising their hand and saying, I want the freebie, whether it's a list of local contractors, the best restaurants in, Dallas or whatever. They want the magnet. They're raising their hand. They give a signal. They give you information that might suggest a real estate need. In my case, I had a bunch of people say, yes, I am thinking about moving this year. That right there is they're signaling to me, yes, I might be a potential lead for you. The conversation is you engage with them around that need that they're having, which is what creates the opportunity. It's like there's a real reason, timeline, or next step. So, with the people that I called for the magnet, I have a next step. my next step is, running the numbers for their house and getting back to them on that. And then they become a client. So it's like a cycle that they have to go through before they actually become a client and turn into business. So, like what makes someone move from where they respond to a signal? And then what makes the signal worth a conversation? I mean, I personally believe every signal that I got from those 24 people, that was a signal that was worth a conversation. So, if I just did nothing with them, then there's no point of collecting the data, right? So my next step is, I called them. Most of them I had to leave messages for, and I haven't heard back from any of them. So my next step is on day 3 after calling them is sending them a text message. So there's a whole process around how you move them from, that signal to actually being in conversation with you. And they might never respond. But again, if I stop after the first, oh, they didn't call me back, it's like, well, I need to follow up. We all know that, someone can watch our videos on social media for, what is it, like they have to see our content, like 17 hours of our content before they'll buy from us. It's like a crazy, crazy number. So your offer needs to reveal something. The giveaway shouldn't just be collecting names. Like it has to reveal, are they a homeowner that might need to buy or sell? Maybe there's someone relocating to your area. That's an identifier. And then the question is it a current need that they have today or a future need? The 2 that I uncovered that want CMAs, they're not now business, they're future business. But as realtors, like I'm lead generating every day. I mean, would it be great to find someone that needs to list their house this week? Yeah, I mean that's the ideal situation. But I don't care if they're going to sell 5 years from now, because I might not be selling 5 years from now, but I still will have a team. So anyway, we just have to remember that too. But I think a good community offer does 2 jobs. It provides value to them and it reveals context. So like, what is the offer helping them learn? What could be useful and making the person so that they don't feel interrogated? NECA, did you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I do, Jill. So, you know how you shared that we could, borrow your post ideas and such, and
Uh-huh. Oh,
I
for one
did.
rental. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or,
Uh-huh.
or just,
In general, yes. Uh-huh.
and so I tried one of yours. I did my own little derivative of it. First time trying to, leave a comment
Uh-huh.
in the, I guess like just leave the
Yeah.
word plan or whatever word I
I
used.
saw it. I think I commented on it.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that before you can do those types of like those freebies or those high value things as lead magnets, do I need to already have like more engagement or a higher following count? Because I think I've tried it maybe once last year and I tried it that time and I didn't, no one really comments like on my posts, right? And so any suggestions around that to
The only,
increase
yeah,
that?
the only suggestion I would have is do it every day. Like, and don't worry about the outcome.
Okay.
The outcome, I mean, all you need is one. If one person comments, yes, send me your plan or whatever your word or whatever your item is, if that person is the person that's going to be transacting in the next 90 days, like your lead magnet did its job, right? Like we don't and this is where I don't want you guys to get hung up on the number, because I got 24 hand raisers from the school magnet and I only had 2 out of 24 that said, yeah, do a CMA for me. But if one of those 2 eventually becomes a client of mine, that's really all I needed, right? I think about that like when I do community ed trainings through the school district. Like there might be 15 people in the classroom, but all I need is one of the 15. I just want to make it, if I'm going to go do that presentation at Community Ed and spend 2 hours of my time, I want to at least get one person and one listing out of it. So I think, pay more attention to like the actions versus the number of people you have commenting. Because the other thing too is if you just started doing it, like people are not I don't want to say like maybe you don't have enough followers. You just need the right follower. So if you're consistent with it, it's going to happen. Like people are going to start asking for your document.
So thank you for that, Jill. And when you said uh, like be consistent every day, do you mean just the posting every day or
Yeah.
posting about the lead magnet daily? You mean just posting
Well, I
daily,
mean,
right?
here's my thing. Every single video that I post has a call to action at the end. It's either share this with a friend who might be looking for a house. It's save for later if you ever need to house hunt. Comment PLC for my pre-listing guide. Comment red flag for my seller red flag checklist or buyer red flag checklist. I'm not going to waste my time doing a video and not put a call to action at the end. Because like if I do that type of video and it's educational for people and I don't give them instructions on what the next step should be, then then I might be building followers, whatever. But if they don't have any way, like if they're not sending me a DM saying, PLC, I want your pre-listing checklist, once I give them the checklist, then I have a reason to go back in the DM and be like, hey, did you have any questions on the checklist? Then again, like I think it was Lisa or somebody on the call just said, it becomes a two-way conversation. It's you're given permission by them asking for your thing. They're giving me permission to follow back up with them and say, oh, hey, Lisa, did you get the pre-listing checklist? Did you have any questions on it? And then I can say, is it helpful for you? What's your time frame? Are you in the chaos right now of getting your house ready to sell? What stage of the selling process are you at? And sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. But again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about the calendar magnets. If you deliver the PLC to them and then that's it, you never follow up again, it's kind of like, well, are you missing out on an opportunity to kind of check back in with them and be like, oh, I should follow up with this person that downloaded my checklist and ask them, like, did they have questions on it? Are they finding it useful? Is there any other information that I could provide to you that would create value for you? Because again, just sending them the item and then calling it good, it's kind of a waste of our time if we're not trying to move them down. Because, I talk about this all the time. The funnel starts here. When we're online, especially, the funnel is this big. We drop them in the top of the funnel. They see your video on social media and they're like, oh, who is this NECA person? I really like her video. They've been dropped in the top of your funnel. Okay, because now they're following you, they're paying attention. The goal is to move them from the top of the funnel slowly down to the bottom of the funnel where they actually come out a client. And that's not going to happen in most cases overnight. So if we're not constantly like touching them in different ways, there's no way to move them from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. So does that kind of make sense or answer your question?
Oh, 100%. Thank you so much for that, Jill. Yes,
Yeah.
I'll focus on ensuring that all my posts do have like a definite call to action versus just my contact information at the bottom of
Yep.
the caption, so to speak.
And part of
So
it too, in moving them from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, is we're building trust with them. Like, you know, if you're doing your videos and I saw one video and I'm a seller and I'm like, oh, that video was really educational and good, I'm going to download her thing. Or maybe I don't even download your thing, but I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye on this NECA girl. She seems to be providing some good information. I don't really trust you yet because I don't know you. So you're quietly building trust with them behind the scenes when you're posting your stuff. And it's no different with an actual thing like the children at play signs that I'm delivering or the magnet. It's all the same thing. And again, it kind of goes back to like, this framework is a framework that can work for whatever your audience is, and it kind of works the same way when you're delivering a digital product online. And interestingly enough, there's someone I follow online that she has like 60,000 followers or more. For her PLC, and this is where I got the idea for the PLC. I mean, obviously it's a pre-listing checklist. It's like, it's an obvious thing. But anyway, she's actually charging $7 for hers because she has so many people commenting, wanting it. She has so many followers. So at this point, she's like, well, I don't care if they download it or not. Some of them are going to turn into real estate clients, some are not. I might as well be making $7. I have so many people asking for it. They're going to pay $7 for it.
Who is that, Jill?
Her name is Rachel Novak. Yeah, so she's charging for her lead magnets. So, she's charging agents. So if you go on her Instagram and you say, give me your whatever checklist, there's a good chance that she's going to ask for $7. It's going to hook to her Stan store where she asked for $7. And in the beginning, like, she was just putting free lead magnets out. But I think she realized over time, so many people are asking for this. I don't even, I'm sure in her mindset, it was like, well, I don't care if, if 1 million people ask for it, like, I'm sure 100 people are going to be willing to pay $7 for it.
I
So she's
also
kind of in her mind like, well, I don't really care at this point. If I can make $7 from 100 people every single day, because she's getting almost 1 million views on all of her videos. So anyway, she'd be a good person for you guys to follow.
I got to get her last name. I'm trying to find Rachel on there, but I think that's a good idea too, because I think, like they tell you, when people can do things for free, they sign up, and they'll never really show or be committed. But if they're willing to spend, even if it's $5 or $10 in it, I think that's a better quality, I guess, of a lead
Yeah,
that you can engage in a little bit more and try to build from it. But of course, it still has to be something of great value to make
right.
it worth that $5 or $10. But
I
I bet you,
totally agree too, Lisa.
yeah, I
Like,
bet you the type of client. Think about it. Even when you go to client events or do things, this one event they have here locally, that if you show up, you get your $5 back or your 10. She charged a very low fee. It was either $5 or $10, or that'd be towards your coffee or something like that. But if you don't show up, you don't get it, and that just helps them control and make up for the people that they didn't allow to come to the event because you reserved this spot.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a
Yeah,
good idea. But you have to
yeah, I
pump.
really like that
And I
because
couldn't.
also it makes me think about women on the go as
mm-hmm.
well, right? Like, it's a small, amount to pay to be part of a great network, but having, like they say, that skin in the game makes
Uh-huh.
a big difference. So I really love that idea of, putting some amount on it, because it does strengthen how people perceive and their willingness to read it. If I've paid for something, I'm more likely to read it, digest it, do something with it, versus if, I just receive, this freebie that I know, oh, okay, I have access to it whenever, kind of thing.
Right.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, a lot of the people that I follow, for digital marketing, they say $7 is the sweet spot. Like, don't charge 9, don't charge 11, like $7 is the number that almost anyone will pay. And I don't know why. And I've heard that actually from multiple, like, people who are in the selling digital product world. And this is where, like, you guys should start to think bigger. Like, we're not only real estate agents, right? If you can create a second stream of income for yourself with, with these lead magnets, I mean, that it's no different than like the Amazon storefront. If I'm out there recommending books to people, or whatever, I should have an Amazon storefront saying here, in fact, I should add that. Someone just asked me yesterday which books I recommend. I thought right away I should have just sent her to an Amazon book list, because I have hundreds of books that are sort of on my favorite list. I've really only read a few terrible books. So anyway, like, we need to think bigger as business owners and be like, what, this is totally off topic, but what is it that we're already doing that we could be getting paid for? Like, going back to Susie with Women on the Go, she was already having the events. She was already doing the networking. So it's just the brain power to be like, we just have to really be thinking about what is it that we're already doing that we could be getting paid for. And in Rachel's case, she figured out, like, the switch went on and she's like, well, holy crap, 500,000 people just downloaded my pre-listing checklist. Why am I not charging a little bit of money for this? And think about it. Like, if you're making money on other things, I think about it, and I'm like always thinking, like, work smarter, not harder, right? So if I don't have to sell 50 properties a year and I can sell 25 for less effort because I'm making more money selling pre-listing checklists, that's the win, right? So just kind of think about that, and keep that in mind. I'll type in the chat. It's Rachel Novak. She's from Michigan. Yeah. So anyway, okay, let's see. NECA, I saw that question too. Good idea. Did you love the topic of thinking bigger and getting paid for it? Yeah, definitely. Because there's all, stuff in our world. Some people are charging to be on a vendor guide. Like, I know agents out there who are actually charging people money to be in your vendor guide. And I've never done that. I haven't done that yet. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of have mixed feelings. So anyway, that's another idea, that we could be capitalizing on.
I think that's a good one too, though, Jill, even if it's a nominal annual fee.
Yep. It could be $25 a year or something.
Yeah, just something that, and then it helps them to also remember that they're in the guide, and they're more invested because they've paid, to be in it, kind of thing. So I love all the ideas. I am very excited about this call this morning.
Oh, good. Well, I think, like I said, it's just a mindset. We have to stop thinking as realtors and start thinking about being a business owner. Because, at the end of the day, again, I talk about this all the time. Like, I just turned 61. I don't want to be peddling real estate till I'm 80. Like, there is going to be a point where I'm going to want to not sell anymore, So, I feel like thinking more like a business owner and less like a realtor is only going to benefit all of us. So, all right. Okay, so it's 8:00. So we're gonna end the call there, and hopefully you got something out of today's call. And if you're an insider, I'll see you at 1:00 today. If you're not, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Jill. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.